everyone, thanks for joining me again at Kaylee's Corner. I had a really quick short dream that I wanted to share with you guys today. This one was from March 12th, 2022. It's pretty short. I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory. I was driving on like this big long interstate and there was a ton of cars, kind of coming, how when you're driving on the interstate, there are cars coming this way, cars coming that way. Anyways, it was just a big mess, and I could see like the cars in front of me had like, you can, kind of see their brake lights. You could tell like obviously people in front of you had started to slow down, they were starting to stop, and you can kind of see like different lengths at how far people are like backed up on different lanes. And so a lot of times people will be like, oh, that lane is full, so they jump over here or they jump over there, or like everyone is just trying to jump back and forth between all of these lanes thinking that they are going to avoid whatever lane is backed up the farthest, and so that then they can continue moving forward, and like they're not gonna have to stop and like not have their drive interrupted. And so like I was kind of coming up on all of these cars that were starting to be backed up in front of me, and I just knew, or like I just decided, like I'm just gonna stay put in this lane, and I'm not gonna try to jump over here or jump over there. Like I know I'm just gonna stay right here, and my lane's gonna move forward when it moves forward. I'm not in a rush. It's going to be all fine. But I could see like people next to me trying to jump in front of me, and like trying to get out in front of me to try to get around, and like just kind of seeing all of these people trying to just the mass chaos of people like trying to get somewhere faster. And eventually my lane broke free, like whatever happens, and then like everything is moving freely again. And so if you see me looking down, I have my notes here. So, but I really feel like what God was saying is, find your lane and stay in it. Like don't do this jumping back and forth. Maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll do that, like, oh, this isn't working, let me try this. Or I really feel like he's saying, or he's told you and what your lane is, and I really feel like he's saying like this is your season to like stay in your lane. Like we don't need to be jumping all around, and I feel like there's a lot of this is for your safety, is like find your lane and stay in it, because like that's where his protection is, that's where he's at, like that's where he wants you. And when the rest of the world is going chaotic, you are safe. You can just stay right here in your lane. You know what you're working on, you know who you are, you know what's to be expected of you, and like just to stay in your lane. And when the time is right, everything's going to break free. You're going to move forward, and you're going to get to your destination, and it's it's all going to be okay. It's all going to work itself out. But I really feel like that was what God was encouraging me, is like just stay in your lane. If you don't know what your lane is, then I would encourage you, to kind of find your lane. If that's in your, trying different things, or, just really being prayerful and asking the Lord, like, to show you where should you be focusing right now. What does that look like for you right now? But find your lane and stay in it. Don't jump around, don't hop around, trying all of the different things, or trying to keep up with the flow of traffic. Stay in your lane. Find your lane and stay in your lane, and he will get you to your destination. Because like he'll get you where he needs you to go. We don't have to jump around to try to do that. Like God will get us where he needs us to go. He doesn't have to have our help to do that. I think sometimes we forget that sometimes God works the most when we're just like sitting, when we're just being at peace, and we're just resting. You don't have to try to do things all of the time for God. He can still move you forward even when you're just sitting there, or even when you're just, sitting in him, resting in him. So yeah, I really feel like this is a word of like, keep it simple, find your lane, stay in it, don't hop around, don't try to keep up with the flow of traffic. If people are being, jumping over here and, trying to expedite you, or, if they're trying to push you, if you're feeling all this pressure, like just find your lane, find your little bubble and stay in it. Because the traffic will break free, you will get to where you're going, and it will be, at the speed that God has intended for you, and it's where your protection is, it's where your safety is. And so there was a couple scriptures that I wanted to go ahead and read for you. The first one, let's see, the first one was from Matthew 20, and then it talks about, so the last will be first and the first will be last. And I felt like that was another, kind of a thing that I experienced in the dream was even though I looked like I was in the last place because I was sitting there at the back of the line, all of these other people that were like trying to fly, ahead of you and like trying to cut in on all of these things, they eventually, like when my lane broke free, eventually they were stuck over here and I just flew past them. So it was like you didn't really get yourself any further like than they thought they had. And, I still made it through it even though I sat for a second. So I really felt like that was what God was saying, is like the last will be first in this season. And like it's not by our doing, but it's by God's doing, and he will bring you to the forefront. And then in Mark 10 it says, but many who are the greatest now will be the least important, and those who seem the least important now will be the ones who are the greatest then. And I feel like that's just another, confirmation that like God is moving you to the front, and he's got a path for you, but you got to stay in your lane for him to be able to, bring you to the front, to expedite you, to accelerate you, to bring you to the front. So stay in your lane so that he can do that for you. And then in Isaiah 43, again, talking about God saying like he is making a way for you. Do you not perceive it? Do you not see the path that he has for you, and that he will make a pathway through the wilderness? He doesn't have to have our help to make a pathway. He can just make it through whatever. So just find your lane, stay in it, and he will make a path for you. And then Isaiah 26 says, but for those who are righteous, the way is not steep and rough. For you, God, are a God who does what is right. You will smooth out the path ahead of them. And I really feel like, when you're sitting in traffic and you're just sitting there waiting for everything, you're like, come on, I just want it to be smooth sailing, Like I find myself saying that, like, it's so great when it's just smooth sailing. You can just keep flying through and you don't have to stop. You don't have to worry about anything. And I really feel like that's what God's saying. It's like he can make that happen for you, but you got to stay in your lane. You got to stay in your lane, and he will bring, that smooth path for you. And then this last one is from Proverbs 4, and it says, I will instruct you in the way of wisdom, and I will lead you along straight paths. Again, like as we are listening to our discernment, and as we are, taking everything to God and asking him where he wants us, what he wants us to be focusing on, what is our lane, where is our lane, what does that look like for us? Like that is the wisdom that he wants to impart on you. And that he will make your path straight in the process. And so yeah, I just really pray that this is an encouraging word to you, to stay on the path, that God has it all figured out for you. And if you feel like you're sitting in traffic right now, just stay in your lane. And if you feel like people are passing you by, people are, maybe having more accomplishments, or you feel like they're doing more than you, just stay in your lane. Your time will come. And he will bring you to the front, and it will be smooth sailing, and it will be exactly what you've been looking for. It'll be exactly what he needs from you, and it will all work out exactly how it's supposed to, because God is making a way for you personally. He just needs you to stay in your lane. I pray that this is a blessing to you guys, and an encouraging word just to remember that God's making a way for you, and it's all going to work out. I pray that you have a blessed day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.